r/AskReddit by Redmond ETS. What is the craziest thing you have done or seen in Vegas? Wife and I were dead broke when we got married. We stopped in Vegas on the drive home for 2 nights of cheap fun. Had about $50 to gamble and were playing cheap blackjack and roulette. After sitting at the table a while with the same group of people, one guy was super drunk, but up like 20 grand. He kept handing out black chips to get everyone to stay at the table and play with him cause we were all lucky. After a few hours he wanted to take the whole table to eat at Gallagher's Steakhouse at New York. We ended up going with him, the only ones, mainly because we felt bad that people kept telling him no, and talking for the next couple hours while he sobered up and learned all about his life. He was genuinely an interesting dude. Everything we ordered, he ordered another for us to take with us back to our room. He got up to go to the bathroom and was gone for like 20 minutes. I started to freak out a little bit, but he came back and paid for everything, about 1 grand, and we parted ways with a good story and a couple $100 more than we came with. Tame by most Vegas story standards, but we still laugh about it 15 years later. Mike the plumber from California, you're a good dude. Saw some kids just coming from the pool, in their swim trunks, roll up to my craps table. They are clearly 21 and first time in Vegas. It's during the day and it's only a $10 table. The table workers are helping the kids because they don't understand the game. One of the guys just keeps betting the pass line and nothing else. On the other end of the table there is a guy next to me who has maybe 30 grand on the table at any given time. Had around 400 grand in chips in front of him. The pass line guy gets his chance to roll. He rolls for around an hour. I made 6 grand. I'm trying to keep track of the guy next to me, but I'm also keeping up with my own bets. He is easily making a $3-4 million. Pit bosses kept coming over. It was nuts. This entire time the swimsuit kids have no idea what they are doing is so rare. The kid only bets the 10 pass every time. Makes less than $100. The kid finally craps out and the guy next to me cashed out, so do I tip the kid 100 and the table 100. The high roller flips the kid a 10,000 chip and walks away. He's gone by the time they even realize what has happened and it's getting explained to them by the table workers. They lose their shit and go nuts. Great day. Woman with one titty completely hanging out playing slots. Was gonna tell her, then thought maybe she was sweating and airing them out. Drove to Vegas on a whim with some college friends while at school in Los Angeles. We get there around 6 AM having left in the middle of the night. Only place with a room available on the sooner side was Excalibur, so we cram 5 of us in there. I had $300 cash total. While we were at lunch I pull a Clark Griswold and say I'm going to the bathroom. But really I needed to get my bankroll on the up and up, so I went to play roulette. Lost my entire $300 in a few spins. Now I have no money and the trip has barely started. We go out for the night and I have to just follow them having a good time playing around town while I watched. Until my friend says he'll pay me $100 if I jump in the Bellagio fountain. I agree and hop over the faux marble railing and quickly climb out. I don't know if you've been to Vegas, but being soaking wet is not the best look there. Either way we all go grab some drinks while I try to dry off. I take that $100 and put it in a slot machine. A few spins and I hit a $280 payout. Then my buddy says he wants to teach me craps, so we buy in for $200 each and I roll every number multiple times. Now I have about $800 in my pocket. After more shots my friends decide to get a bottle of tequila cause it's cheaper, and we get wasted. I venture off on my own and end up at a poker table at Caesar's Palace. I have no memories of the poker game except being wet and having pocket queens while a giant pile of chips is pushed to me. The rest was blackout. Then I get multiple phone calls that I need to get back to Excalibur immediately. Turns out the guy who gave me the 100 to jump in the fountain got so drunk he followed a cocktail waitress into the alcove where they make drinks and ended up in the main kitchen for a restaurant. He decided to make his own quesadilla and stole a 24-pack of Red Bulls before security finally got him. They let him eat his quesadilla but made us take him back to the room and go to bed. We all passed out. The next morning I had 3 grand of Caesar's chips in my pocket and a few crumpled up hundreds, also a receipt for spaghetti and meatballs from a food court. So glad I ate something. Maybe not the craziest thing ever, but I'm glad I jumped in that fountain. My friend took a photo that I am trying to find, but it was like 4 iPhones ago. Edit. Found the photo, lol. Not as crazy as many of the others here, but when I was 21 my parents took me to Vegas with them as I was going through some pretty rough times. I had brought around $300 to play with for the weekend, which was pretty much everything I had saved at the time. Wasn't too responsible back then. I forget which casino we were playing at, but I had lost about $200 within the first couple hours on dollar slots. My machine was doing terrible, and dad was playing on the opposite side of me and doing fairly well. He notices I'm getting bummed and tells me to hop on his machine, that it's been hitting pretty good and I might do better on it. I take over and he sits down next to me. Third spin and I hit a $1,500 hand pay jackpot. Blow my mind, the bells were ringing and we were jumping up and down. I got a couple drinks while we waited for the attendant and we had a blast the rest of the trip. So grateful for my parents, and especially my dad for giving up that jackpot to me. May not be too crazy, but for me it was absolutely insane. They have zip lines over the streets in downtown Old Vegas. Watched some drunk hurl an ungodly amount of barf as he sped over the massive crowd below. It was like a skit where they have a hose because I can't imagine that much volume in a human stomach. Must have hit over 300 people easily. Fremont Street. That place is wild at night. Stopped in Vegas for lunch. Walked over because I had never been inside the Paris hotel before. Looked around a little, walked over to casino, saw this enormous slot machine, like the size of a car. Played the cash I had in my pocket, $5. Won $10,000. Left after they paid out. Went to airport and was talking to a guy waiting for our plane and he said, "Man, I just walked into Circus, played a single slot machine and won $10,000. I hadn't told him anything about my winnings. I asked him if he had been in town a while and he goes, I stopped for breakfast and a friend was coming to pick me up. I walked over to Circus because I had never been there and played the cash I had. I thought I was dreaming. I was not. I was too freaked out to say anything. I just said, man, that's wild. And he said, dude, I know, I'm not telling anyone. So I stayed silent. Never saw him again after we boarded. Still not sure to this day if the Matrix glitched or what. Nothing weird happened with money. But that memory still gives me chills to this day. My buddy spent 3 hours at the Spearmint Rhino. Came crying to me at the end of the night that he just bought a girl a small sedan. Didn't even get her number. I'm like, what the fudge? Go back and get it. The sedan or the number? Lol. She was already using it to go to college, so just the number. I'm impressed 3 hours only cost him a Civic. I had a friend blow $1,000 in about 15 minutes there getting a 2-girl dance in the VIP. While I like myself a lap dance, I have my limits. I also had a buddy pay for a $500 lap dance. I'm like, you fucking idiot. You could have had sex with one of them for that amount of money. Saw my husband get peed on by one of Siegfried and Roy's white tigers. My taxi driver got a DUI on the way taking us to our hotel, lol. He ended up getting out of the car and running too because he had warrants for his arrest as well. Corey Feldman. Partner and I were walking from Caesars to the Venetian, and something at a distance caught my eye. I smiled and went to point it out to her, and as I'm doing it, this guy walking in the opposite direction of us smiled and went to shake my hand, probably thinking I was a fan who spotted him. He quickly figured out I wasn't gesturing at him at all, put his head down and kept on walking past us. Only then did I realize it was Corey Feldman. Saw a guy lose 250 grand at a craps table in like 5 minutes. Went into Aria, put a 10-cent bet on some penny slot, won $20, and walked out. My little victory over the man. Some guy bumped into my friend at the Venetian Hotel and accidentally spilled his drink all over him. He was so apologetic that he ended up giving my friend his watch, saying he had won millions that day. Not sure if that's true, but the sentiment was there. Crazy part? The watch was real and worth almost $10,000. I was walking with some friends on one of those pedestrian bridges, and this girl walking the other direction said my friend was cute, and they started making out, and I don't even remember what they said, but within 10 seconds she was on her knees going down on him. After a little while she got up and went on her merry way, and we continued like nothing happened. August 1996 blackouts. The power was out. The strip was dark, but the slot machines were still on via generators. Not crazy, but went to town nightclub for my 21st birthday. The only problem was I got to the front at 11:55 PM, so I technically wasn't 21 yet. The bouncer looks at me after looking at my ID and I just go, "Come on man. It's about to be my birthday." He sighs and tells me happy birthday and lets me in. Lol, this one is so wholesome. Good bouncer. Passed out by Caesar's Palace while puking. Woke up to an ambulance next to. Shot right up and ran away. Didn't want to be paying for an ambulance bill. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.